So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video we do have some 4-2-2 custom tactics, but just before we get started I wanted to talk to you guys about the state of this game, where I am with recording and stuff like that. And the thing is guys, honestly I'm finding this game to be a little bit tedious. It's a very one-dimensional game. It doesn't feel like there's a lot to do. The gameplay is not exactly brilliant, so it's a little bit of a stale game for me right now, but I am pushing through playing for the sake of content and to create tactics for you guys. But a few of you might have noticed that my videos have slowed down a bit recently in terms of the frequency, and it's just because I've been finding it a little bit difficult to push on. That being said, these 4-2-2 tactics that I have got for you guys have been very effective in the games that I've played, so I do hope that they help you out. And yeah, let's get right into the video guys.
If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount.
Okay then guys, so starting off with the tactics for the defensive style, as always we do have to have this on balance. This is because it does give you the best control over your defense. So when you want to be aggressive and press your opponent, we're able to do that, and then when you want to drop back and be a little bit more passive, we can also do that. When it comes to applying pressure in this game, we don't actually have to use these pressure tactics either. We can use something which we'll get onto in a moment, so balance is the way to go in my opinion. Moving on to the defensive width guys, I do like a more narrow defense in this game because I don't like people just being able to play right through me. People do go for these cutbacks quite a lot, which is one of the issues I was talking about at the start of this video, but I think if somebody's going to go for those cutbacks, they will always go for them regardless of what your defensive width is, so it's at least better to be nice and compact through the middle to prevent easy goals being conceded. Moving on to the depth guys, this is the thing I was on about with the pressure, something that I honestly hate in this game, but you really do have to use it at this point because there's nothing else you can really do. So this 71 depth thing, very overpowered, basically gives you an automatic press from the AI. The game will defend for you a lot of the time, and the thing about 71 depth as opposed to these pressure tactics is you don't really get a stamina drain, so you can basically press like a madman all game and not really get punished stamina wise as a result of it. So this is something I have been saying I hope is fixed for a very long time, but I don't hold out much hope. And honestly, if you're not using this on the new gen version of the game, then you're basically just handicapping yourself at this point. If you are on the old gen version of the game, this is obviously not a thing, so 55 to 60 depth is probably the best way for you to go there. Moving on to the build up play guys, I think balanced is the best because it gives you the most controlled and varied form of build up. When you use balance, you can pick and choose when and where you use each form of build up. So if you want to play slowly, you can. If you want to then switch it up and play a bit faster, you can. So it does just give you that variety which the other settings don't give you, which is why I think it is the best to use. Moving on to the chance creation guys, we have this on direct passing, another really boring tactic, but something I think you have to use in this game yet again, because direct passing is the only tactic which is actually effective against those park the bus defenses. So when your opponent has all of his players camped in his box, defending, parking the bus, whatever you want to call it, direct passing will make your attackers commit very far into the box with those runs. When the defenders follow them, they will then track back so you can cut back and the defenders aren't near them. So it's a very boring tactic, but a very effective one in the state of this game. Moving on to the width guys, I think honestly a higher width is quite important at the moment in this game, purely because attack through the middle can be non-existent most of the time, especially when an opponent activates this 71 depth. So a bit of a higher width is good because you can utilize that space in the wings, which is pretty much the only space you can attack a lot of the time. For the players in box guys, we just have this bang in the middle on 5. This is so we can get a few players into the box to finish off our chances, but we don't overcommit everybody to the point where we're always going to get counter-attacked if we lose the ball. As for corners and free kicks, this is a preference thing, but I just have these both on 2, but you guys can do whatever you want with that.
Sorry to interrupt the video guys, but I have noticed around 90% of you that watch the content are not subscribed, so if you are finding any of these videos helpful, please be sure to hit that subscribe button as it does help me out massively. Also don't forget to drop the video a like as well. And with all that aside guys, let's get back to the video.
Now moving on to the player instructions positions, guys, on the strikers, we have them on stay central and mixed attack. We have them on stay central because we don't want these players drifting out into the wider areas, otherwise we don't really have anybody to finish off our chances in a consistent manner. So both the strikers on stay central, so they do primarily stay in those central positions where you want your strikers to get the ball. We also have them on mixed attack as opposed to getting behind, because I just feel like I can get a bit more out of them a lot of the time on mixed attack. Sometimes they'll run short, so they'll receive possession there. Just seems to be a little bit easier to attack, in my opinion. That being said, getting behind is very effective against this 71 depth stuff, so if you are struggling with mixed attack or you don't want to use mixed attack, you can just put your players on getting behind, and that is just as useful. Moving on to the wide cams, guys, I think the most important instruction is this comeback on defense instruction. This is because it will make these two cams defend as a right mid and left mid in a 4-4-2 shape, so they'll sit next to these two CDMs to fill in those gaps and stop your opponent having a lot of space when they're going forward. Again, this is very important, something I wish we didn't have to use, but it is very important, otherwise your opponent will just rip you to shreds a lot of the time. So come back on defense on these two. We also have them on get into the box for cross, so these players are not hesitant to transition into the penalty area and help us out there. So come back on defense and get into the box for cross, probably your best instructions on these two cams. Now moving on to the left CDM, guys, this is my more defensive minded player. So if you have like a medium high or a super defensive player in this CDM spot, your more defensive one, stay back while attacking, cut passing lanes and cover center. Stay back is obviously very self-explanatory. We don't want this player going forward if he is defensive. Cut passing lanes means he'll always look to intercept those passes, break up the play and help regain possession. And then cover center is obviously important as it stops your opponent being able to just pass right through the middle of you. So pretty basic instructions on that CDM. And then for the other one, I use like a more box-to-box style player, if you will. So somebody that will go forward and also defend. So we leave them on these default settings, so we don't restrict them to defending all the time, and they will actually help us out. So balanced settings on this player is very useful. And then the only important instruction is that we have them on cover center, so they always defend those central areas and block those attacks through the middle. Now moving on to the fullbacks, guys, on your more attacking minded fullback, because this is a more narrow formation, it is important to get that extra width when you're going forward to stretch out that opponent's defensive line and give your other attackers space to break through that line. Otherwise everybody is just super congested in the middle and it's very difficult. So on this player, balanced attack and overlap to give you that extra width and give you that wider option to really help you out in the attack. So I think this one's an absolute must. For the other fullback, guys, you're more defensive minded fullback, stay back and overlap. This is so that you will always have 3 defenders back at a time. So yeah, you're nice and defensively sound, but when you send this player on a run forward, they'll make those overlapping runs to give you that extra width as well. So very important instructions for your fullbacks here. For the 2 centre backs, guys, I leave them alone. You do not need to touch these. Their default settings are fine. And the keeper, you can put them on comes for crosses and sweeper if you like, but that is not necessary. I leave them on balanced. But yeah, guys, that is everything for the video. If you have enjoyed this or found it useful, please be sure to drop it a like. Sorry if I don't have my usual energy. You might be able to hear in my voice that I've got a bit of an infection going on, so I do apologize there. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please be sure to drop it a like if you have, sub to the channel if you are new, and don't forget to turn on those notifications. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next video, guys. Much love, peace out.